So I will give you guys some progressions today. I'll let you guys kind of decide where you're going with this. So if you don't feel like doing some of the harder versions, I always say something like you can, stay here, or, and sometimes that progresses several times. And really the biggest thing is just honoring where your body's at today, especially if you've been home for a while. Don't feel like going through the hardest progression is the most beneficial, because sometimes it's just not. Just kind of really feeling out what's working for your body. So I would say that's the only thing I'd ask today is honor wherever you're at. We'll do some hips, we'll do some shoulders, we'll do some core work, and we'll go from there. So just finding a place in your mat, feet together as much as possible. So not so much that your inner ankles can't roll in, but you want all four corners of the feet on the mat. Start to engage your inner thighs. So it's already a strong pose, really feeling that energy from the earth kind of rooted in, come all the way up. Allow your shoulders to roll back and down, and growing your neck tall. And from here, close your eyes. And just take a moment here. You're going to feel some wobbling or some waving side to side. That's okay. Starting to quiet the mind. Start to breathe in a way that energizes your body. Just for a moment before we begin today, I invite you to set an intention. And on your next inhale, start to raise your arms all the way overhead, lengthening through your fingers. And as you exhale, just bringing your hands to heart center, sealing in your intention. And open your eyes. From here, start to inhale, reach all the way up, lengthening through the fingers again. And this time we're adding in a little bit of a back bend. Squeeze your glutes, open up through the chest. As you inhale, come all the way up, and then exhale, forward fold. Just take a moment here, head reaches for the toes. Soften your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. Let's do that 2 more times, get the body moving. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Soften your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. 1 more time. Rolling it all the way up to standing. And then coming back to center, you're going to take your right arm up, left arm comes down, just take a side bend. As you're here, really pressing heavy into that right foot, opening up through the chest. And as you inhale, come up, switch the arms, take the other side, left fingertips reach, pressing heavy into the left foot, opening up through the whole left side of the body. Inhale, come all the way up. Both arms up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Soften your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it all the way up. You're going to take a little bit of movement just to warm up the body, start to move a little further. So inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, come halfway up to that flat back. Really find it here. Send your hips backward, top of the head reaches for the front of the room. And then drawing your belly button in, deepen your fold. Both hands come to the ground, bending the knees, step both legs back for down dog. Really driving the heels down into the floor, hips up towards the sky. As you inhale, come forward to your plank. So if you're taking this lower today, just drop your knees. As you exhale, you're coming back to down dog, or if the knees are down, coming to child's pose. here, let's start to move with breath. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, send it back. As you inhale, come forward, tuck your tailbone, draw your rib cage up. As you exhale, send your hips up towards the sky for down dog. 2 more breaths. And the next time you come forward, coming into your plank or modified plank, elbows come close to the body and come all the way down to the floor. Release the tops of the feet. Inhale, come up into cobra or up dog. Shoulders come back. Allow your hips to sink into the mat. Neck is nice and long. As you're here, really draw your shoulders down towards the back. Engage your lats. And then from here, we're moving back to down dog. Going through hands and knees or tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Down dog. Look to the front of the mat. Step or hop forward for forward fold. Soften the knees. Tuck your tailbone. Roll it up. Inhale, lift. Reach all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, come halfway up to that flat back. And as you exhale, deepen into the fold. Again, both hands come to the floor. Step both legs back for down dog. As you inhale, come forward, find your plank. And from here, engage your belly, slowly drop to your knees and come into your hands and knees. Nice. From here, take your right arm straight up towards the ceiling, lengthening. Open through the chest, and as you exhale, swim all the way through, coming down to needle pose. Drop your head to the floor. Release your shoulder to the floor. Left hand can stay on the mat. It can come to your low back, ceiling, or wrap it around your low back to take a bind. Wherever you're at, take that top hand back to the mat. You're going to stay low, but start to turn your chest towards the floor so that you're opening up through the outside of that shoulder. You can lift your head off of the mat if that's comfortable. And then coming back to hands and knees. Let's take the other side, left arm up. As you exhale, swim it all the way through, coming down to the left shoulder. Right hand stays on the mat. Up to the ceiling, or again, low back or taking a bind. And then top hand comes back to the floor, staying low, but turning your chest, both shoulders facing the floor, stretching the outside of your left shoulder. Pressing into the top hand, come back to hands and knees. Spread your fingers, tuck your toes, lift your hips up for down dog. And from here, just get one really lengthening down dog. Push through your fingertips, your knuckles. Lift through the hips and drive your heels down towards the floor. From here, lift your heels, bend the knees, look between the hands and step or hop forward for forward fold. Slightly bend the knees, engage your core, come up with a flat back, come all the way up, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. As you exhale, sit back into chair pose. Hands come to heart center. You're going to take a twist over to the right. Left elbow crosses over the right knee. If you want more, start to press heavy into the palms, deepening the twist, maybe looking over back elbow, back shoulder. And then coming back to center, lift the hips, forward fold. Soften the knees, engage your belly, come all the way up, reach tall for the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hand, sit back into chair pose. Bringing hands to heart center, this time taking a twist to the left. Right elbow can cross over. Again, pressing into the palms, maybe gazing behind you. Coming back to center, lift the hips, forward fold. Soften the knees, roll it all the way up. Take one full breath here. Big inhale, lift, and exhale, hands to heart center. As you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, forward fold, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale. floor. Both hands come to the floor. Bend the knees if you need to and step the left leg back. We're moving into lunge, so come up one hand at a time or both hands. Drive through the back heel, really send your hips forward, open through the chest. Coming to the center, straightening both legs. So challenging balance just slightly, and then sink all the way back to that low lunge. Both hands come down to the floor, left hand stays, right hand comes up for a twist. Top hand comes down, and from here we're just switching feet. So you can step the right leg back, the left leg to the front, or take a little hop. Nice, I saw that. Come all the way back to your lunge. Again, really driving the hips forward, opening up through the front of that right side of the body here. Inhale, lengthen both legs, reach towards the sky, and then sink a little further. Both hands come down, right hand stays, left hand comes up, twist. Dropping that top hand to the floor, set the front leg back for down dog. Take one big breath here. And from here, take your right leg up for three-legged dog. From here, bringing it forward, right knee comes into the chest. Hold. If you need to, drop the back knee. So you're in a plank. And then from here, start to extend that right leg underneath your left arm. Drop the foot to the floor. Start to rotate to your left. Left hand comes to the sky, open through the chest. And then take that left hand or that top hand and touch the right foot. Turn your chest towards the floor, really stretching the outside of your hip. Bringing the left hand back to the floor. Turn back to plank, draw your right knee in, and then send it back for down dog. As you inhale, come forward, find plank. Exhale, come all the way to a floor or to a hover. Then as you inhale, come up, cobra or up dog. Moving back to down dog through hands and knees or tuck your toes. Let's take the other side, left leg up, three-legged dog. Start to draw that left knee into your chest. Stay here or drop the knee. Or if you want, taking the left leg straight, send it over through the right arm. Rotate down, rotate your right hand open, up towards the sky. And then take your right hand, touch your left foot if that's available. Turn your chest down towards the floor. Feeling this on the outside of your left hip. Coming back to center, and then send that leg all the way back for down dog, lift through the hips. Lift the heels, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop forward for forward fold. Come all the way up. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take one breath, reach up, exhale. As you inhale, reach up, exhale, sit back, chair pose. Again, hands come to heart center. You're taking a twist over to the right. Left elbow crosses over. If you want, start to extend the arms. Take it a little bit further. Both hands come to the floor. Back to forward fold. Soften your knees. Tuck your tailbone. Roll it up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit back for chair pose. Again, hands come to heart center, this time twisting to the left, right elbow crosses over. Staying here or extending the arms. Coming back to center, hands down, hips up, forward fold. And then softening the knees, both hands come down. Step the left leg back, and we're moving to warrior one. So drop that back heel. Back foot's at a 45 degree. Come all the way up. Hips and shoulders are facing to the front. See if you can sink just a little bit. As you inhale, come up, straighten that front leg. And as you exhale, reach towards the front of the room, so long spine. And wherever you are with the front leg straight, come down. Thigh, shin, ankle, or floor. Much more important to keep that leg straight than how far down you come. Take a moment, drive your hips back. hands, bend the front knee, come all the way back up, warrior one. Both hands come back to the ground, lift the back heel and step the front leg back for plank. Nice and slowly coming to the floor or to a hover. And then inhale, come up, cobra or up dog. Back to down dog. Lift the heels, bend the knees, look to the front of the mat, step or hop forward for forward fold. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. Inhale it. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chair pose. So sorry, everybody hates chair pose. Hands to your chest. Take a twist over to the right. Again, extending the arms maybe. And then coming back to the center, tuck your tailbone, soften your knees, roll it up. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale, sink back, chair pose. Hands to heart center. Let's take the other side, twisting to the left, right elbow crosses over. Staying here, extending the arms, deepen your twist. Coming back to the center, lift the hips, forward fold. Hands come to the floor, step the right leg back. We're moving to warrior one, other side. So coming all the way up, hips and shoulders facing the front. From here, sink. As you inhale, lift, straightening both legs. Use your core, reach for the front of the room. Come down to your pyramid, thighs, shin, ankle or floor. Honoring wherever your body is, how tight this is. Really focus on sending the hips back and rotating the front of your right hip down towards the mat. Pressing into the hands, bend the front knee, come all the way back up. Warrior one, sink. Both hands come down, lift the back heel and step the front leg back for down dog. From here, right leg up for three-legged dog. Allow that left heel to sink. And then drawing the right knee back into the chest for plank. If you want, send it underneath the left arm, coming right back into that twist. Rotate down and toward your left inside of the foot. And if you want, take your left hand, grab your big toe, extend through the leg and find balance. Bend the knee, come right back to center, back to down dog. As you inhale, come forward for plank. Exhale, slowly lower, hover or floor, inhale, cobra or up dog. Back to down dog. Let's do the other side, left leg up. Allow that right heel to sink, bringing it forward, knee to chest, plank. Hold it, you can drop the back leg or send it underneath the right side. Rotating over towards the right. If you want, taking the right hand, grabbing the toes, extend through the leg, find that balance. Maybe coming back to center, send it back for down dog. Lift the heels, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop forward, forward fold. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. Nice. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more full breath. Inhale, reach up. We'll come back to chair in a moment. Right now we're going to take forward fold, come all the way down. As you inhale, come halfway up to that flat back. And as you exhale, fold forward. Both hands come to the floor. Step your left leg back for warrior one. Come all the way back up. One more time, straightening the leg. Reach towards the front, send your hips towards the back of the room. If you want core work, stop halfway. If you are feeling that in your spine, come all the way down to that forward fold. Or maybe you're just needing more of a hamstring stretch, just listening to your body. Wherever you are at, using your hands, slowly bend into the front knee. Come all the way back up to warrior one. Start to lift the back heel, coming into a low lunge, and you're going to shift your body weight into that front leg. and come into warrior three. So arms can either reach in front of you, driving through that back heel, or arms can reach behind you. Really open through the chest, keep your shoulders drawn back. And then coming back to center, bend through the knee, come back to standing mountain pose. Nice, inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, come halfway up to that flat back. And as you exhale, sink. Both hands come to the floor, this time stepping the right leg back, moving back to warrior one. Find your way all the way back up. Inhale, reach for the ceiling, straighten that front leg, engage in your core, reach. Halfway or all the way down. If the hands are lifted, just placing them on the thigh, bend through the front knee, come all the way back up to warrior one. Start to lift that back heel coming into lunge. Same thing, you're shifting into your warrior three, placing all the weight into the front of the foot. Lift the back foot, arms can be a front, to the side or out back. Drive through that back heel. And then coming back to standing and shake out the legs. Nice. Inhale, lift. And exhale, hands to heart center. This time as you inhale, reach your arms all the way overhead. And as you exhale, bring them behind your back. Start to send your hands towards the floor. And if you can, keeping your palms together. We're just going to breathe here. So take your shoulders, take them back and down. Start to use the muscles between your shoulder blades to make this happen. Two more breaths, and really trying to keep that rib cage hugged in. You guys look awesome. And then releasing the arms and shaking them out. So coming to the middle of your mat where you have a little bit of room here. As you inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, sink back into your chair pose. We're moving into a little bit of an arm balance. So you're going to bring your hands to heart center and you're going to take a twist, left elbow crosses over. You can stay here, you can extend, or if you want, starting to take a squat, bring your hands to the floor. You're going to lean into your hands and you can stay right here playing with balance. If you want, shifting forward into your side crow, lifting the feet, and then extending the bottom leg, maybe extending the top leg. Yeah. I have to get close because you're teeny tiny. When you're ready, coming all the way back to center. Lift through the head. Come back to forward fold. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it all the way up. Nice. We're going to do that on the other side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come all the way back into your chair pose. Hands come to heart center. We're going to take the other side this time, so twisting over to the left. Again, staying here, adding the arm, maybe taking a squat and coming towards the floor. Same thing as always, you can place your, shifting the weight front and back. You can move to side crow, lifting the feet, maybe extending both or one leg. Whenever you are ready, coming back to center, lifting through the hips, forward fold. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way down. As you inhale, come halfway up. And as you exhale, sink. Both hands come to the floor, step or hop back to plank. From here, we're moving to side plank if you want, dropping the left knee. Either way, rotating over to the right. Start to lift through the hips, and if you want extra, take that top hand, reach for the top toes, maybe extend that towards the sky. Starting to move back to your plank. Going directly to the other side. If you need to, drop the right knee. Either way, rotating to the left, engaging through the hips. Same thing, you can stay here, maybe find that bind, maybe even just stacking the feet or taking fallen tree. And then top hand comes all the way to the floor, and as slow as you can, knees down or up, or coming to the floor. Slow, slow, slow. Lead with the chest. And once you come all the way to the floor, releasing the tops of the feet and bringing your forearms to the mat. Start to drive your hips down, open through the chest. Taking a big breath here, draw your shoulder blades back and start to bend your knees. Squeeze your inner thighs together here. And then slowly releasing. We're moving into bow. If that doesn't work for you, stay right here. Otherwise, coming into your, onto your belly, reaching both hands back for the feet or preferably the ankles. Drawing your toes back towards your feet as you inhale, lift up. Finding breath here, really pressing the feet into the hands. And when you're ready, slowly roll it all the way down. Release the tops of the feet. Take your left hand, reach away from your body, fingers reaching away from the mat, and bring your left cheek to the mat. Your right hand comes to your chest, and you're just going to roll over that bottom shoulder. Head stays rested. So you can stay here. You can add that top leg behind you. You can also take a bind if you have open shoulders, reaching that top hand for the top foot behind you. So don't go there if you don't have open shoulders, but if it feels good, feel free. And then coming back to center, switch your arm, switch your cheek, and we're going to take the other side. So rotating to the front of your right shoulder. Keep your head rested if that's comfortable. You're pressing your left shoulder towards the sky, maybe adding the leg behind you, maybe adding that bind. And then come back to center. Hands come by the chest. From here, we're moving to down dog. You can press through the knees or press through the toes, lifting hips first through plank and then down dog. Just hold here in your down dog. Really lengthen the heels towards the floor, lifting through the hips. I want you to take 2 more deep breaths here. If down dog doesn't feel good, just come to hands and knees. From here, take your left leg up for 3-legged dog. Allow that right heel to sink. And then start to bend the left knee and reach the knee towards the sky. So you're opening the hips and you're stacking your hip bones on top of one another. Coming back to center, let's move to pigeon. Left knee comes to the outside of the left wrist and walk your back leg back. So we did this last week. We're going to either make this active or passive. It's up to you. So if you're wanting to passively sink into your pigeon, just come down, start to focus on your breath. If you are wanting to make this more active, you're going to start to press into the front leg especially, but maybe reaching out through one arm, maybe both arms. If you feel like you've got the strength and flexibility in that front leg, maybe lift your back leg as well. And then when you're ready, sink, take a breath. If you're doing these active motion, you're going to find yourself sinking a lot further into this pose at the end. So if you're moving, let's do that again. Press into the front leg, activate your core, reach long through the fingers, maybe lift that back leg. And then sink. And then choosing to stay here for a few breaths or coming back to that activeness. And if you are activating, you're going to come up and down with little pulses, right? So whether it's one arm, two arms, or feet, you're going to come up and down. So you'll be doing that one more breath and then slowly sinking in back down into your pigeon. From here, start to walk your hands in towards your body. You can lift through the chest, right? Send the front of the back thigh down. You can stay here, add that back leg or add a bind. And if you've got the bind, go ahead and press the hand or your foot into your hand, maybe lifting the front arm. And then coming back to center, you're going to roll onto your left hip and bend the right knee. So it looks like kind of a mermaid sit right here. From here, without leaning over to the left, you're going to try to start to lift that left foot off of the floor. Really engage, and in your mind, I want you to bring your foot up and your knee down, right? Drive through the toes, draw your toes back towards your knee. And then slowly sit that down. I'm going to do the same thing to the back side. Draw your right knee down into the mat as you lift the back of the leg. So as you do that, you're leaning over to the right. And then slowly releasing. We're coming back to standing. So you can come through hands and knees, or if you want, you're going to take that back leg, bring it to the front and cross it over. And you're going to do a little bit of balance to stand up and turn around. If you just gave me the what look, just come up. Let's come all the way to the other side. Inhale, lift. As you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, deepen the fold. Bring both hands to the floor. Step both legs back for down dog. We're going to take the right leg up for that three-legged dog. Really let the left heel sink into the mat. And then starting to bend the right knee. Lift the right knee to the ceiling. Stacking your hip bones. Coming back to the center. And let's take pigeon other side. So right knee comes to the outside of the right wrist. Walk your left leg back. Start to sink. So whatever you've chosen to do on the other side, you're going to do on this side as well. So if you are sinking into it, find your breath. Really start to sink. If you want to activate pressing into that front leg, reach through one arm or both arms. Start slow here. And when you are ready, sink. Each time you release into the mat, whether you're staying there or not, with each exhale, see if you can just sink a little further. Try to let go of tension that you are holding. If you're coming back to being active, pressing into that leg, engaging your whole pelvic floor, right? Abs are tight, reach long with one hand, both hands, maybe add that back leg. And then sink. Take a rest, sink a little further than you did before if that's available. And let's do that one more time, either staying where you're at or taking some pulses up and down. Really trying to keep your body even so that you're not shifted more towards one side than the other. Whenever you're ready, sinking all the way into it. One more breath. walking your hands in towards your body, lifting through the chest, shoulders back, sending the front of your left hip down, staying here, adding the back leg or adding a bind. Again, front hand can come to the floor, to the thigh, to the ceiling. Maybe you have it to reach that back leg. I don't. And then releasing the hands, you're going to fall onto the right hip, and you're going to bend the left leg. So we're coming into that kind of mermaid position other side. Really trying to keep your body as upright as possible, depending on your flexibility. And we're going to work that front leg. So really start to lift the ankle, and you're going to try to drive the knee down as you lift the ankle. You're definitely going to notice one side being different than the other, so one more breath, keep trying to lift. And then slowly lower that leg, and let's take it to the back leg. You're really pressing that left knee down, lifting the back heel, and try to come upright. If you want, you can release your hands fully so that you're also engaging with your core. And then releasing that leg down, we're going to do the same thing we did back to a standing pose. So you're going to take that back leg, reach it all the way around, cross it over, foot to the ground. If you want to come to hands and knees, come to standing from that way, come to standing. Otherwise, you're going to come into that, take a little twist, bring it all the way back to standing. Nice. Inhale, lift. Take your back bend here. Squeeze your glutes open through the chest. Make that happen through your glutes, not your low back. And as you inhale, come all the way up, exhale, forward fold. Go ahead and bring both hands to the floor, step or hop back to plank pose. Meredith really loves plank, so from here, I want you to start to walk your feet in just about an inch. Tuck your tailbone, press through the hands, and I want you to draw up through your belly. So it looks a little like this, right? And if you want more, turn your fingers out slightly, shift forward for a slight planche, and you're just holding. When you're ready, send your hips all the way back, up and back for down dog. So I'm going to move a little bit through some arm strength. If you don't want to do that, you can come into your hands and knees and take cat and cow. Otherwise, you're going to take that left leg up for three-legged dog. Start to draw it all the way in. Place the left knee on the left elbow. If you want more, take your right hand and take it out to the front and wide. You're going to do a push-up. Come all the way back to your down dog. You're taking the other side, right leg up. Come forward, right knee to right elbow. Staying, taking a push-up, or take the left arm out. Push-up. Send it back, three-legged dog, and then drop that foot back to down dog. We're doing that one more time, each side, left leg up. Come forward. Hold it, push up, or right arm out. Send it back for three-legged dog, and drop it. Right leg up. Come forward, plank or knee to elbow, push up or left arm out. Send it back. Bring that leg back to down dog. As you inhale, come forward and find plank again. Drop your knees and shift all the way back into child's pose. And then come back to hands and knees. I'm going to go through that series one more time. If that just didn't work for you, that was like then you can do the same thing from hands and knees where you're taking one forward, taking a push-up from here. You can also just come into halfway modified. So it's up to you. Hands and knees are down dog, you are up. Start to lift your hips. Left leg up, three-legged dog. Allow that right heel to sink. Let's get moving. Left knee to left elbow. Push up or open it. Push up. Send it back, three-legged dog. Drop the toes, other side, right leg up. Bring it forward. If you want, left hand out, push. Three-legged dog. Drop it, back to the left. Inhale up. Exhale, bring it forward. Send it back. Drop the toes, right leg up. Bring it forward. Send it back. Drop the toes here one more time each side. That's it. Left leg up. Bring it forward. Send it back. Let's take it right side up. Bring it forward. And then dropping your toes, and then dropping your feet. Start to shift forward, engage your belly, drop your knees to the mat, and come all the way up onto the knees. So reversing blood flow, give it a moment. You're going to take your fist into your low back, and we're coming into baby camel or camel. So from here, just pushing into the low back, shift your hips forward. If you want, you can tuck your toes. You probably all know where you're going. So elbows back, chest is open. You can stay here or take half camel or full camel with both arms. Just making sure you don't take the hips with you, keeping the hips right over the knees. And then engaging your belly, come all the way back up. Inhale, lift. And exhale, hands to hands and knees. From here, just for a moment with the fingers, start to with the wrist, go turn your hands towards the outside. If you have more, keep turning them so that the fingers face the knee. And you're going to slowly sit back as if you were going to sit back, but you may not go very far. And if your fingertips are facing the outside, you're just rocking side to side. And then coming back to center, slowly walking those wrists all the way back. And this time taking fists and placing your fist on the floor, palms are facing. Push into the left fist and straighten, come out to the back of the right hand. So you can take as much weight off of that hand as you want to, just stretching out the wrist. And then switch them, right hand down, press into that fist, take the other side. Back to fist, and you can either cross your legs and sit back into a seated position or bring them around, but coming all the way to seated. We're going to take a little variation on boat pose today just to kind of work core, since that was a request. So all of the versions, you're going to start to lift up through the shoulders. Hands can come behind the thighs or around the knees. Start to lift through the feet, draw your chest forward, shoulders back, and find a hover. So this is going to be your first pose right here. If you want to stay here, stay here. Otherwise, maybe extending a leg, extending both legs, or extending the arms. Nice. From here, if you can, I'm going to do this for a while, so if you need to drop your knees and take a breath, take a breath. Otherwise, you're going to bend your left leg and take your right hand and reach for the foot. Come back into boat. Take the other side. Back into boat. That's where you were headed. Each time you inhale, lengthen up. Each time you exhale, take that twist. If you are feeling it in the low back and not your belly, then keep your knees bent. One more time, each side. And then coming back to the center, drop your feet, take a breath. Nice. So from here, something similar, you're coming back into your boat pose. Chest is open, shoulders are back. And this time you're going to open up, extend through the legs, so take your V a little wider, and then draw it back in. So same thing, if you have to round out through the spine to make this happen, hold the thighs. Keep your chest up and lifted. You're going to inhale, come long, exhale, squeeze. Make sure you're really using breath here. You're inhaling as you open, exhale as you squeeze, and that squeeze is where you find power, that exhale. Keep thinking belly to thigh. And then squeeze the knee into your chest, drop your feet, take a breath again. Nice. Start to extend your feet out long. As you inhale, reach up, grow tall through your spine, and as you exhale, bring your hands behind your back, fingertips facing your feet. You're gonna open through the shoulders, draw your shoulders back and down. If you want more through the shoulders, draw your feet in. Start to lift your hips, coming into reverse tabletop. So this is just a shoulder stretch. So whatever is comfortable for you. And if you're kind of used to that, you can also kind of rock front and back in your tabletop. Again, just really honoring the shoulders here. And then dropping through the hips, extend through the legs, inhale up, and exhale, forward fold. Really reach your head all the way down towards your toes, belly to your thigh. And then sliding the hands all the way up. One more time, inhale, reach. Exhale, bring your hands behind you. This time your fingers facing away from your toes or your body. Start to draw your arms closer inward and take a slight bend to the elbow just to protect the joint. You're gonna draw your shoulders back and down. And if you need more, press into your heels and shift your hips forward. So as long as you can keep the chest open and it doesn't round out for the front. This one can be uncomfortable to start, but really nice for opening up the front of the shoulders. Making sure you're taking in full breaths. And then if you have shifted your hips forward, keeping that micro bend in the elbows, use your feet to send your hips back. And one more time, forward fold. And then releasing the legs. Take your legs wide, so as wide as you can make them. And you're gonna really try to rotate your pelvis down towards the floor. So making sure you haven't rounded out through that low spine, and if you have, just send your hips forward by pressing on your hands. Otherwise, maintaining that strong, long spine. Start to reach your arms out long. Use the muscles in your hips to drive yourself forward. Press through the legs, so push your legs down and towards the floor. And then keeping your arms as long as possible, walk them all the way over to one side. Walk them all the way over towards the other side. Back to center, staying low, and come all the way up. You're going to keep your legs long, but start to turn over that left leg. So from here, lengthen through the toes, because it's my right leg, but you're going to try not to lean back, and you're going to try to just get a little bit of lift through that front leg. The more you can fold forward at the same time, the better. So you're going to feel this in your quad, but it's really really deep hip flexor. We're working the psoas, so we're trying to also do core here. Everybody also loves those, just so you know. Take the other side. And then releasing that down, bringing both legs to the front. And from here, we're just going to focus on lifting through the hips and controlling your core. So from here, you're going to try to take a forward fold and compress your thighs as close to your belly as possible. Then placing your hands all the way close to your knees versus your hips. From here, you're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that compression and then press into your hands. So you're either going to lift up through the hips or it's going to allow you to lift one leg, maybe both legs. But keeping that compression so that you don't end up opening up, right? Also, if your quads feel like holy moly, that's normal. And then, whenever you're ready, coming all the way forward. So this doesn't have to be that much of a pose either. You can also just keep that compression and start to lift one toe at a time, that maybe inches or, half an inch. And then come all the way back. Start to scoot yourself forward and roll all the way to your back. You're going to find your hollow body here. So what I mean by that is tucking the tailbone, really send your low back into the mat, draw your belly button down. So whatever that is, where there's no space in your low back, start to lift your knees. You're going to start to extend one or both legs, and as soon as you feel your low back come off of the floor, draw them back in. So you may have a really long hollow body, it may be short. Arms can be down, they can be up. If your legs are long, you've got to squeeze your butt like mad here. Just find your breath. And then wherever you are, if your knees are bent, draw your knees in, touch your knees. Inhale, extend long. If your legs are long, reach up, touch your feet, extend long. Start to move with your breath. This is nice and slow and controlled, right? If you find that you're using your neck and not your abs, just reach back and hold the back of your head. This should be a nice, good breath pattern here. And one more. And then slowly drop your feet to the ground. Take your legs wide, or so your feet are wide at the edges of the mat and your knees are up towards the ceiling. Just allow your arms to come out to the side like a T, palms are down, and drop your knees over to the right. Really press heavy into that top of that left knee, opening up to the front of the hip. And then coming back to center, let's take the other side. Coming back to center, and we're coming into your inversion. So if it's an easy inversion today, legs up towards the ceiling, drive through the heels, just allowing blood flow. If you already know you want more of a headstand or handstand, you're going to roll it forward. You already know where you're going. Otherwise, placing your hands by your hips, you can bend the knees, maybe lifting your hips off the ground, coming into candlestick, maybe coming into shoulder stand or plow pose. So if you're wanting something relaxing and just kind of quieting the mind, you just allow the legs to come up. And the other option is just taking happy baby here. Grabbing the outsides of the feet, taking a little rock to the back. If you are all the way up, feel free to take some movement in the legs. Right. Still finding a good breath pattern. One more breath, and when you're ready, bringing the legs in, draw your hips down, and come all the way back to your back here. You're going to drop your feet to the mat. We're coming into bridge pose or wheel pose. So start to press into the heels, tuck your tailbone, lift your hips off the mat. Knees are reaching away from you, inner thighs are engaged. And if you're coming into full wheel or back bend, you know where you're going. Hands come to the top of your head. Inhale to the top, exhale, press up into your wheel. So either one of those, really feeling the openness through the front of the hips. And it's your pose. Whenever you're ready, tucking your chin into your chest, slowly bringing it all the way down. And then drawing knees into your chest and take a little rock side to side. We're going to take one final twist here. So arms come out to the sides, palms down, and just allow your knees to fall over to the right. Allow your left shoulder to stay in contact with the floor. If you need more, that right hand can pull down through the knees. But your focus here should be your breath, so that each time you inhale, let your belly expand or bloat out. So you're really focused on the twist versus lengthening of the legs. Ideally, you're going to drop both knees all the way to one side and the opposite shoulder to the other side. And then coming back to center, and let's take the other side. Allow your knees to fall over to the left, trying to keep your right shoulder in contact with the floor. If you want, left hand can reach down, grab the knees. Back to breath. Again, really expanding or bloating out in the belly on the inhales. Coming back to center, start to bend the knees, grab the thighs or the outsides of the feet and take one last happy baby, maybe taking a little rock here. If that doesn't feel good, knees into the chest, take a little rock. And then whenever you are ready, coming into your final pose of Shavasana. So taking either the legs and arms long, or if you're watching your low back, feet can be wide, knees propped together. And if there is any other pose that would feel better for you today, feel free to take it. And find a place where you can close your eyes. And just for a moment, find your breath. Thoughts arise, just acknowledge them, let them go. Finding that rhythm between inhale and exhale. Each time that you exhale, just allowing yourself to sink a little heavier into your mat. Releasing any leftover tension. And even relaxing the muscles in the hands, the face. As always, as you lie here, I invite you just to lie in that feeling of gratefulness, a wonderful feeling of gratefulness. Your next inhale, taking in a full breath, really expand through your belly. Exhale, releasing all the air from your lungs. From here, taking any last movement that would feel good for you. Maybe a twist or arms overhead. And whenever you're ready, with as little effort as possible, coming all the way back to a seated position. Here, so if you're taking your time, take your time. But grow tall through your spine, drop your fingers to the floor, and just drop one ear to one shoulder. And just allow it to roll side to side in its own natural range of motion. So nice and easy here. And then rolling your chin to your chest, go ahead and bring your head back to neutral. As you inhale, reach your arms all the way overhead, fingertips lengthening. As you exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. Thank you so, so much for doing yoga with me this morning. Namaste.